Hello, and welcome to day 5 of 365 days of self-love and realization. So today we're going to talk about shame. And to me, shame is different from guilt. So guilt is something that you do and you feel badly about it. Shame is a belief that you as a person are bad, or you feel shameful about you as a person. So they're a little bit different. So guilt requires an action of something that you do and you feel badly about it, but shame is like a core feeling shameful or badly about who you are. And I wasn't going to talk about this because I didn't know if other people could actually relate to it, but the few people that I have mentioned it to have said, oh yeah, I had that issue too. So it's one of those things that's kind of deep, dark, and secret, and it's very, very destructive. So the shame that I'm going to talk about is a trait that I inherited from my mother. And throughout my childhood, it was something that I really battled and really made me hate my body, even more than I did for like the body image stuff that I had going on. So it was like, not only did I have that, but I had something even deeper. And what it was is that I was born with a narrow urethra. And you may not know what that means or why it's relevant. So when I was a kid, I would have to go to the bathroom constantly. But it wasn't that I knew that I had to go to the bathroom. I just all of a sudden had to go. And it was because I had this narrow urethra. And so the urethra is the tube that passes from your bladder outside of your body. And when you have a narrow urethra, the tube is narrower, so urine can't pass out of your body as quickly as perhaps other people, and sometimes it takes a while. And when I was a kid, if I had to go to the bathroom, I would just go sit on the toilet, go to the bathroom, and get up and go. And I was always told to go outside and play, right? So my parents were like, go outside and play, like get out of our, go away. And so I did, but what would happen is I'd be outside playing or anywhere, and then all of a sudden, holy crap, I have to go to the bathroom. So it was like the potty dance trying to get to the bathroom. And then by the time I got there, like every moment I moved, like, a little bit more would come out. So then by the time I actually got to the bathroom, I actually peed my pants. And what the narrow urethra does is, because you don't, like, if you just go to the bathroom normally like a normal person, you don't expel all of the urine. So what that does is the urine that's left in your bladder creates it's like becomes old and stale or whatever, and it creates a bladder infection. So your bladder is like in constant spasm, and that's what a bladder infection does. And for anybody who's ever had a bladder infection, you know that it's just like boom, you have to go to the bathroom, and you might be in the middle of a supermarket or something, and like, you just have to go to the bathroom. You have to go now. For 12 years, until I was 12 years old, I had this issue, and instead of it being addressed by my parents, which it should have been addressed by my parents, because my mother had the same issue, I was ridiculed. I was called lazy. I was called a baby. I was called disgusting, horrible names by kids and by the adults who were supposed to be protecting me and looking out for me and taking care of me. So it really caused this deep shame within me. And so when I was 12 years old, what happened was my father and stepmother took me to a urologist. The urologist said she has a narrow urethra. And then he tells me, just when you go to the bathroom, just give an extra push, make sure that everything's out. Great. So you know what? That one silly little thing cured me. Like I didn't have an accident anymore. But all along until there, I had an accident like every day. So for 12 years, every single day, I was being told all of this horrible stuff about myself. Yet it was just a genetic thing that could have been taken care of when I was 3. Like I could have been told when I was 3, but my mother didn't even know what was going on with her. She just thought that it was a weak bladder thing. And then it wasn't until I was in my 30s, that I understood what it was all about. So I remember having a conversation in the car with my father and stepmom on our way back from the urologist, saying, oh, well, you would think that with a narrow urethra, it would be easier to hold it, right? So, and kind of that's what I thought too, because the doctor didn't explain what happened. But it wasn't until I was in my 30s where I was with a friend shopping or something like that. And we were, using the restroom, and it took her like 10 minutes to pee. And she said, oh, I have a narrow urethra and I just need to sit on the toilet for a really long time, where, he told me just give an extra push. But anyway, she's the one that told me, not the doctor, not my parents, not anybody else, that that's what happens, is that narrow urethra, you can't expel all of the urine and it causes bladder infections and it causes your bladder to go like this. So you're constantly needing to go like at that moment. So anyway, this issue caused deep shame in me. And in addition to all of the body image stuff that I had, I hated myself. I hated my body. I disowned myself. I disowned my body. I was stuck with my body. It's not like I could trade it in or upgrade. So it created this deep shame within me because I didn't know what to do. There was nothing that I could do to get rid of that. I didn't know how to fix it. And none of the adults around me were giving me any tools to fix it either. So I know that there are a lot of people out there that have this issue, many more than I ever realized in my life. But there are also shameful issues that you may have as well. You may not be able to relate to that story, but you may have a core shame where you feel like you as a person are damaged or bad or, not good in some way. And it may not relate to the other experiences that we've talked about before. What I would like for you to do in these exercises today is, if you can, and you may not have a shame issue, it may just relate to other people, I don't know. So if you can, and you have a shame issue that you're dealing with, as well as whatever other judgmental issues that you've been able to identify, see if there's a link between that shame and between the other judgments that you've made about yourself, and see if you tied them together. Because for me, it sort of put the nail in the coffin of my total rejection of my body, which I equated to myself. So it was a total rejection of myself on very deep levels. So it was 12 years of outright humiliation, really, that I experienced. So that was like stuck in my energy body. And I think it is still stuck to a degree. And, it's like one of those things that we're human and we're always working through the same things. It's like a spiral dynamic thing. What you need to do today is just see if you can find a core shame and see if you have attached it to your core woundedness. And then tomorrow, what we are going to do is we are going to start working through giving you a little different perspective on yourself and your experience. So we're going to start turning things around so that you can see yourself a little differently, be a little bit more gentle with yourself, be a little bit more accepting of yourself, and compare yourself to other people in your life who you love, who may have the same traits. So tomorrow we're going to get into that. And then we're going to actually get into some consciousness alignments to help you let that go even more. We're going to do a normal consciousness alignment, which is what I do all the time, asking you to pay attention. And then we're going to try a little experiment, because I've heard that some people do them a little bit differently than I advise, and they've had some positive results with that as well. So I'm really looking forward to that, because that's something new for me too. And I know that it will be effective because it's been effective for other people. So thank you so very much for joining me. Please engage in the content. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you have something that you would like to have addressed or that you can relate in some way, it'll give me ideas for things that I can actually include and help you to really release any of the self-judgment and shame through this self-love aspect of what we're working on, and be as complete and thorough as I can. So engage in the content. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Share it with your friends if you think that they will gain benefit from this, and I'll see you tomorrow.